All right, good day, hi, and welcome. Okay. Yeah, grab this one. Nope. Yep. Oh, it's still in tune good. Drop C. What a wicked tuning. Writing songs. A little tip. Something I do when I write my songs is I try to live with them. I write songs in two ways. I write them on the fly like that. Like that's the first time I ever played whatever that was. I just do stuff on the fly, right? It's just and you just see what flows. Then I throw lyrics to it, and the lyrics could be anything. Or sometimes I just write song lyrics, and out it comes. And then once I get what method one or method two, write it from the guitar out, or write the song from the guitar out, or write the song from the lyrics out. Sometimes I'll write from the bass, so bass or guitar, I'll put them in the same category. The other thing I do is I write songs in like, I'll record it on this BR1200, I'll record it 15 minutes, and they're just like little ideas, and then sometimes I release them. You don't get anything really good most of the time, but just, whatever. But when I write a song that I actually like, I don't release it right away. What I normally do is sit on the song for about 6 months or so, just kind of like chewing on it, deciding, okay, this is where the song started. Whatever. And then 6 months later, it's like, it totally changes because it's like, oh, I got different ideas. And then other things get... It takes a while to add that stuff in and figure out where it really belongs in a song. So if you write a song, record the idea, but don't release the idea. Sit on the song for a couple of weeks, whatever, until you're like, hey, I like that. But at some point, you just have to, okay, that song is done, and move on to another song. So one thing I never ever do is put all my effort onto one song. Write lots of songs. Write as much as you can, even stuff that you look at after and you say, this sucks. Write lots of songs. Sometimes you might amalgamate two songs, say that sucks, that song sucks, and then you write something else, say, hey, you know what, if I bring the best parts of that song and the best parts of this song, put it together, wow, sometimes that happens. If you're a guitar player and you're struggling to write songs, like I covered in the video yesterday, learn cadences and learn intervals, Just by knowing cadence or intervals like that, changing up the intervals, it gets you out of the, which is fine. But if you listen to pretty much every song, metal song or rock song in the 1980s, it's either regular chords like that or just your typical 7 chords, right? Your 5 and your 7 chords. Sounds great, right? But you get limited after a while. So, like I talked about intervals, if I was writing a song now at 1-3-5, just mind you, I'm in drop C, so right, sounds pretty good, right? If I was to write this in 1990, still sounds good. But the next guy's doing the song like this. You know what I mean? Where now I would probably go. Or. Whatever I do with the intervals, just to change it up, or. So ideas are just endless like that. The other thing is, you're really stuck for creativity. Mark Holcomb was talking about whenever he wrote the song "Wax Wings," he said he was in like the biggest creative rut of his life, and he threw it in this crazy tuning. I don't know what tuning it was, and it's one of his best songs that he's ever written, right? And he goes, sometimes you just clean the slate, just throw your guitar in a different tuning. The problem with that though is when you go to play live, you have to have a guitar in that tuning, right? So if you have 10 different tunings in your live set, you're gonna have to have 10 different guitars for the live set. You can't sit there tuning your guitar all night, right? So there's that. But that is great for those that are playing more conventional stuff. And that you're probably a lot of that stuff you're probably going to be, when you have more basic chords, you tend to more focus on the lyrical content. So the big thing, I'm not one of those guys that like, you can research and it says how to create a number one hit song, and this is what Edward Sheehan did, and this is what Miley Cyrus and Taylor Swift did. This is the cadences they used. And you look at those cadences, right? So you make the intro 15 seconds. You make the little bridge piece, 12 seconds. Then you go into the, like a pre-verse, and then, and there's all this song structure. Once it's been done, everybody will hear it. So when you listen to music, back in the 90s, Bob Rock, Desmond Child and Bob Rock. Desmond Child wrote pretty much all the lyrics for just about every popular band out there, and Bob Rock produced just about everything. But after a while, you could tell what was produced by Bob Rock because he just had his signature, right? And he produced some really good stuff, don't get me wrong. Both of them did. But that's why everything started sounding the same, right? So you get somebody that comes along and they don't adhere to any sort of structure. They just write songs. They don't get in a mindset of, I have to structure a song this way. Because at one point, even if you're trying to follow, like, it's good to know, what makes a number one pop song, what makes a number one whatever. But if you get too bogged down in that, it will block you from writing, because you end up just writing the same thing over and over again. It doesn't matter if you play it like this, keep it simple, or you're going to hear it, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to hear the cadence each time. And it's like you just wrote the same song over and over again. So look at cadences, like, something that you would not expect, right? tell me what cadence that is. You see where I'm going with this? You could think more orchestral, and write the rules in between the cadences. So your typically your chorus is going to be a cadence, right? That's fine, nothing wrong with that. Um, the idea is to create the catch and the hook and stuff like that. So that's one way to do it. But there's a lot of stuff you could do in between then, so that it doesn't sound like you just copied this guy and copied that guy. Because you would think, okay, well, hey, if I use this formula, I'll be as big as Megadeth or Taylor Swift or whatever. I use them because they're really really popular, right? I'm more of a Megadeth fan. I'm just nothing against Taylor Swift, but I tend to if you had to guess at what kind of music I listen to, yeah, yeah. Anyway, but the point is that if you are writing and you're just going with and so many people get hey, how do I they get so caught up in being the number one on the chart and being creating that number one song and creating being the number one star or whatever, and they kind of lose of where a good song comes from. And a good song comes from the heart always, right? The music is always from within, like I've always said. The instrument is a tool, the quality of the instrument is the icing on the cake, right? So for me,